look, the only things I could say would get me into trouble about that race. I don't think it was the 2 that won it, was it? Anyway, we'll get it confirmed. 492. There was a lot going on, but anyway, looks. Anyway, we'll move things. The 11th from Tokyo is the February Stakes. It is the second of the Group 1s run on dirt each and every year in Japan. The Japan Cup dirt was run back in December, and Wilson Tesoro and JRA ran second and third respectively in that particular event behind Lemon Pop. Wilson Tesoro's 440 to 360. He's the best back runner in the race. He's actually now 330. He's your favourite. Omega Guinness is a horse on the way up. He's certainly very promising, but he's still got it to do, having had only the 5 starts in his first foray into Group 1 company. Did run second in the Group 2 behind William Barrow's last start. And the only other runner, no, he's not in a double-figure quote, King Sword. He's there at $10, but he's a horse with a very, very good record overall. And his last 2 runs have been on the NRA circuit in their bigger races. He contested the biggest race at Ojai, or Tokyo City Keeper as we call it, at his most recent outing, and ran 5th behind the Dubai World Cup winner, Ushuba Tesoro. He wasn't beaten far either. All right, horses are milling around behind the gates for the February Stakes Group 1 level. Let's get your trackside.
Field, but first time at 1600. Those times are over 1412. But the horse will be out the back. We hope for a hot pace, and we suggest it might be that, because quite a few runners that like to go hard early here. And a few having their first start on dirt. A few NAR runners with good credential. JRA led forward. Wilson Tesoro goes up. Tugano Beauty has a blistering finish. And Alpha Mum, she's only 466 kilos or so. Be alongside Don Frankie, who's almost 600 kilos. So we're just about set. Stand by the February Stakes. The 41st running. They're set. They're off and racing. Lovely dispatch, but Champagne Colour went out the back door. Early speed from Don Frankie. Going forward is Peptide Nile, along with Wilson Tesoro. JRA likes to be up near the speed. Igniter as well. Just in behind is the favourite, Omega Guinness. Back on the inside, Champagne Colour has made up ground. Then comes Gaia Force. Mick Fire is a little bit worse than midfield on its outside speedy kick. Then comes Karate. Well back, Tugano Beauty with King Sword. Then 4 lengths away to Sekifu. Then Alpha Mum second last, and Red Lizelle at the tail of the field. They approach the first corner in the February Stakes with 1,000 metres to run. And in front, it's Don Frankie, leads out from Wilson Tesoro. Running third, Igniter, made ground up along the paint. Then comes JRA. A little wider out going forward there. One obscured momentarily. It's probably Sekifu, but we'll pick that up in a moment. In fact, it's Gaia Force. In behind them is Omega Guinness. Back on the inside is Champagne Colour, then Gaia Force. That one out wide is Peptide Nile. Well back, King's Sword, making up some ground. Tugano Beauty, Mick Fire. Work to do, Red Lizelle, Alpha Mum, and well back in the field is Sekifu. They get to the 400-metre mark, and at the moment it's still Don Frankie on the inside. Here comes Peptide Nile and Wilson Tesoro in the middle. Gaia Force starting to make up ground, and starting to run on at the back is Tugano Beauty. They've got to get to Peptide Nile in front. It's going to be an upset if Peptide Nile stays there. Peptide Nile's in front. They're not going to get there at the moment. Starting to shorten stride. Peptide Nile, a 60 to 1 shot, takes out the February Stakes. Gaia Force in for second. Tight for third. Back the inside, King Sword with Tugano Beauty. And out wide, Sekifu. Gee, there were some disappointing runs by fancied runners. Mick Fire, King Sword was up there in the fight for the third and fourth places. Then came Igniter. JRA knocked up. Alpha Mum never got into it. Wilson Tesoro out of its ground. Then came Champagne Colour. Well back. Well, Omega Guinness, a complete flop. Karate pulling up quickly. Speedy kick. Red Lizelle never finished over the top of them.
Yeah, Peptide Niles won it. He's been allowed to get out to a big price. $71 he SP'd fixed odds. He was in that same William Barrow's race that Omega Guinness was in last start. Omega Guinness got beat a length. He got beat 3 lengths, and one of them was $71 and the other one was $3.40. So well done if you've had something on Peptide Nile. Wasn't that hard to have, but it's always easy to say after the race. 7 will run second. 8 or 10 will run third. That's a little bit closer. We'll get that confirmed shortly. The third from Salanga's up next, 1,200 metres.